Now then, YouTube, welcome back to the podcast. No Paul this week, so we have got the Jake and Jake show going on.
Hello.
Special guest today.
Yeah.
Jake Atkinson of Muck Off Health Air and All Things Special. Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. It's been a long 8 weeks on the road, but yeah, it's good to be back. See everyone.
Yeah, man. So what have you been doing recently? Been on the road? Where have you been?
I left on the 6th of March, flew to New Zealand, Queenstown, met up with some old friends there, stayed there for 10 days and just rode bike park. Just admired views.
Yeah, man. It looks good out there.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's an incredible place. Yeah, rode some jumps, and then headed from there to Rotorua, where anyone that follows CrankWorks will have seen the whole palaver. That was a fun first CrankWorks experience.
What was it like getting there and figuring out eventually that you're not going to ride?
Well, I mean, there was we got there and straight away there was talk of we need to sort what's going on out in the whole thing, and we were like, okay. And then kind of going along with it because obviously I'd never been there before, and all the other riders that have been discussing this for several years, the terms and whatever. So we spent most days just riding and then in meetings and then ride. This is so draining, just you ride all day and then meeting and then try ride in the afternoon. And
Did it feel like you had a real job again?
Yeah, exactly. There's stuff to do. I was like, this is the worst.
Yeah.
So no, it was good. It was all good to see how all that stuff works, and be at the big event and ride the big course was a good experience to be there.
Yeah. Was it? I take it's disappointing not to ride, but
yeah, it's needed
to happen.
Yeah, it needed to happen. The sport's progressed a lot in the last 4 weeks now. It's so even smaller events now are even pushing a lot more for better support for athletes, awesome. which is cool. All on the back of what happened in New Zealand. So.
Yeah, and obviously the girls getting to ride as well.
Yeah, they put down an incredible show. That was fun to watch and cheer along, and it was kind of weird watching and not competing.
Yeah, I can
imagine.
It's
a weird feeling, just practice all week and then just stand on the side of the course and watch everyone else ride. It's like.
So how did you find the course then? Obviously a big step up from what you've done previously. Obviously you didn't get to compete, but feel with confidence for the next event?
Yeah, the course was good. It made me realise that I need somewhere to train over the winter though.
Yeah.
Going from all winter again in skate parks and then back to that stuff.
Big jumps. Straight into the deep end.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's the speed you hit jumps is just absurd.
Yeah.
There's just, I don't know. You can't compare it to riding anything else really.
Yeah.
Hitting takeoffs that fast isn't exactly.
And so big as well.
Yeah, everything's just huge and
but thankfully,
fast.
Trusty GT under your feet.
Well, exactly. Yeah, save me.
Yeah.
I mean, I did have a big slam in Queenstown actually.
Oh yeah. Is that what your knee?
No, that was my back.
Oof.
That was bad.
Yeah.
I was struggling to walk for a bit.
Oy, naughty.
And that was that kind of ruined my practice actually in Rotorua because that was a big slam.
Yeah.
We can probably add the clip in if you want.
Yeah, I reckon we put
everyone
that
can
in,
see
in post.
The me moaning and winded and
hopefully not do that again.
No, I never want to do that again. It sucked.
Yeah, but then after CrankWorks, you went off to Sea Otter, right?
Well, actually, no. I continued travels in New Zealand. We went and did some sightseeing in a place called Mount Maunganui. And then after that, flew to Australia, rode some skate parks, which was cool in Brisbane and the Gold Coast. And then went and rode with my friend who's got a crazy training setup just outside the Gold Coast. So we were just riding airbag for a week.
Yeah.
And then GT asked if I wanted to fly over to America to do the Sea Otter event. So we went over there and hung out, which was insane.
Nice.
Seeing all the new products from everyone and talking to brands and being professional and stuff.
Yeah.
Trying my best.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, it sounds like a good couple of weeks, and then you're back out to Australia for the next round of CrankWorks, right?
Yeah, I've got 3 weeks at home now, and then a week in Germany, and then a week in... Well, actually, more there, yeah. A week in Germany and then fly straight from Germany to Cairns.
Nice.
Which, another 26 hours of travelling or something ridiculous. And then from Cairns back to New Zealand to Queenstown to pick up my bike because my big bike's still in Queenstown because I left it there because I couldn't be bothered travelling around with it. And then fly back to Auckland and then fly from Auckland back home.
Long day.
Yeah, very long. I've got like a good another 50 hours of travelling yet before I'm back here.
Good. But yeah, talking of feeling like a professional and being a professional, obviously, ever since I've known you, you've been good at riding bikes, and you've always been good. But
I try my best.
When is there a moment in your head where you realised you had just went from being good to being professional? Is there like was there a step where you thought, oh wow, this is really something, or was it always just you're riding bikes and everything kind of happened around you?
Yeah, I've always ridden for fun. I don't like doing stuff if it's not fun. I'm pretty bad at like being dedicated to something if I don't find it fun.
Yeah.
I like if it's not fun, I won't really do it. So it was always just I've rode a lot of everything in bikes really. I've always ridden mountain bikes and then did 4 or 5 years of trials, 6, almost 7 years of BMX. Yeah. And now 4 years nearly of slopestyle. So it's been a very like random just mix of stuff. But yeah, my second season? My second year riding was, the start of last year was like my second year.
Yeah.
But my first ever competition season, which 2022 technically I rode one event in Spain.
Yeah, that was in Vigo, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the first ever proper event I went to. Which was cool because it kind of like, I can ride big events sort of thing. Because that was like
where did you finish? That was 7th, was it?
7th,
you finished there?
Yeah, so that was my first ever like event that was like a slope event, international or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went there and happened to Tom Eisted got me an invite to that because we go off rankings. So there's obviously bronze, silver, gold, diamond. That was a gold event, but not many people go because of the time of year it is and where it is and stuff. So I just happened to be able to go to that off the back of just knowing someone like Tom, which was huge for him to get me there. And then rode there, which gave me a little bit of points, which got me the invite last year to do like my first season of competing, which was that Zuri Dirt event in Switzerland,
Irontown,
and then
like that.
So the Zuri event was my first like proper event away really. Yeah. After like a good 2 years of riding. And I was just like I knew I could do okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you just ride a lot and you know what you can do.
Yeah.
So I was pretty confident that I could do like decent. And I went to that event and ended up winning that event, which was huge.
Was that a surprise, or did you know that you could win that?
I didn't know. I don't think I even knew I could win. Weirdly, I don't really ever like. I feel like you always want to win. Yeah. No one. No, you're lying if you're not
going to lose it. Yeah.
No, exactly. But like I never went with like intentions of I'm going to win this event. I just was like, I'm just going to see how I do it. Like I'm just going to do it as good as I can.
No expectations.
No, I never really have. I've never gone into an event with expectations. I don't think. I just go in with the expectation of doing as good as I can. Yeah. Like it's not about where I'm not like trying to. I'm just competing against myself effectively. Yeah. I think that's the best way to compete is just compete against yourself.
It's a very good mindset, isn't it? Because you can't control what other people do, can you?
No. And so, if you're just gonna, if you spend your time worrying about what everyone else is doing, it's hard to then progress. Whereas if you just compete against yourself, I find that you just progress and do well, and it takes a lot of the nerves off of having to do well because you just
because if you're constantly thinking this guy's doing this trick and I need to work out how to beat him whilst you're sitting on the start ramp. Yeah, that's a lot horrible. Going through your head. Not very helpful thoughts.
No, it's the same as like if, I mean, I guess it'd be the same with any discipline of racing. If you know someone is faster, it's
hard to beat them.
It's pointless trying to be as fast as them. It's just trying to be like as long as you do as good as you can. If they mess up, then you'll beat them. Yeah, it's sort of like as long as you do your best, that is all you can do. So I've always just done that, and then that event was insane to win, which obviously was like a huge boost in I can actually like do competitions because you don't know until you do them and you start doing okay and then it's like okay because I did the odd BMX competition, I did the odd trials competition and never did very well in either. I just never got I was just never really good at the competing in them too. I don't know why, or just I don't think I found it as fun as slope was. It seemed.
I remember you telling me when you and your dad used to go off to trials competitions, you'd just go and ride other stuff because I
literally wouldn't ride the event.
You didn't getting the set course and just
no, it was horrible. I'd literally do like the first 2 sections and then just I couldn't. I just wouldn't ride it. It wasn't fun. So I just went and rode something that was like. So it's definitely the whole competition thing's just been it's been a crazy journey the last couple of years, and then after that event in Switzerland, and then I went to another silver event in Czech Republic, which was Irontown.
Yeah.
And then, which that event I ended up finishing second at as well, which was like, and
was that second to Godziak?
Yes, yeah, which was another crazy and it was very close. I think I was only second by 0.5 of a point.
Wow!
So it was like half a point in it, which was like, and that was like the best run I've probably ever done to like even this day. Like, it was probably one of the best runs I ever did.
Because if you don't know slopestyle, David Godziak is probably top 3 in the world.
Yeah,
he's an unbelievable rider.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah.
So that event was like insane to be like just on the podium with him, and it kind of like all that stuff is just because I was like, I mean, you're competing against him, but that was never I was just
you were there to ride,
put my own run together, and I wanted to do that run, and it worked, and I ended up getting second, which then I had like 3 decent results, which. I went and rode in a silver event in Slovakia, which was a way bigger course, way bigger jumps, huge flat drop, and all that stuff was all new to me.
Yeah.
So like at that event, I was learning that was the first ever time I did a 360 on a flat drop, which was straight to dirt and on a massive drop, and that stuff's was just learning at events and just having fun. So that run there, I think I came 4th there, which was still good, but I didn't expect to do well at all because it was like a course I'd never really ridden.
Very, very not skate parky.
Yeah, it was like the Czech event was pretty small. The Switzerland event was pretty small. Like the jumps were small. It was very comparable to what I was been doing for the last 10 years nearly.
Yeah.
So it was like I wasn't very.
It's like you were at home.
Yeah, I was like, cool. These jumps feel good.
Yeah.
And then going to that Slovakia event was like okay, and that's not even a big slope course, but it's a lot bigger than what I'd ever ridden, and it was like so that was cool. That was like a really good experience. But again, that was just purely just a good experience. It was not never a goal to do good at that event. It was literally just to learn effectively.
Yeah.
And then we did and then after that I got an invite to Rebel Roof Ride.
Yeah.
Which was like crazy.
Yeah, you're talking about big courses and learning on the job. I mean, you say the first time you ever did a 360 off a flat drop was at that course in Slovakia.
And then
the size of the flat drop at Roof Ride, and you did a 3 triple truck off it?
Yeah. So that was an insane, because I actually debated never going to that event. I thought about it for a while. I had the invite for like a week and a half before I was like, because I was speaking to some people that have ridden the event before, and they were like, it is huge, because everyone, a few of the people that I'd ridden with knew I didn't like big. I mean, I'd never ridden big jumps, so stuff like that to me, I was like, I wasn't very interested in it because I'd never done it. And it's scary knowing you're going to go and hit a jump that's
50 foot tall,
50 foot long, and it's just terrifying to think about. And then I was like, but dwelling on it, do I go? Is it too risky? Am I ready? And I was just like, well, if I go, I can always not ride.
Yeah.
If I feel, and I mean, the only way I was going to get good at riding bigger stuff or being better was by doing it. I wasn't going to just be better at it.
It's not going to happen overnight.
No, I wasn't going to be better at it by not doing it. So I was like, well, I'll go. I guess the experience is the most important thing. So I went to that event, and the first few days was scary of practice. And then the third or fourth day we did qualifying, and I ended up qualifying first, and I was like, I've got no idea why or how I'm in this position. So then that was pretty crazy going into finals at that event, because actually the morning of qualifying was like midday.
Yeah. And
the morning we were riding the flat drop, and I'd done a 360 off it a couple of times, and I wanted to truck driver off it, which is 360 bar spin. I'd never done that on a flat drop, and so I learned that about 10 minutes before we stopped riding for qualifying, and I was like, I did one, and I was like, okay, at least I've done it.
That's terrifying.
And I'd still never tricked the first jump in these first 3 days of practice. I've never done one trick on it. I was just straight jumping it the whole time, and then this jump after, I would only ever flipped it. I'd done nothing on these jumps. I was just being really safe, because
getting used to the course.
And being as safe as I could, because rushing into it was just, it's just not worth it on a course that big. And then qualifying and stuff for that event, I for qualifying I did my second ever truck on the flat drop in my run, and then first time I ever tricked that big jump, and done combos on a lot of the features, and it all worked, and ended in a really good position, which was good and kind of it's weird going into finals last because you've got to wait. You're the last one to drop, which was weird to know that you've got to wait and then.
Yeah, if you're throwing down tricks for the first ever time in a competition run, how does that weigh on your mind? Because I know for me, like when I go to races and I practice courses and stuff like that, I know what I can do on it and I know how I can race it. But if you're coming into something you've never ever done before, how do you process that on the start ramp, thinking I'm gonna do this thing that I've never done before in a high pressure competition run?
Well, I think it's a lot of the tricks I did. Are tricks I can do, but have never done on them kind of features.
Okay.
Or that bigger feature. But like, yeah, my finals runs, we had 3 runs. So my first run, I did like a 361 bar spin on the flat drop. Mm-hmm. And like in the run, and when I did it, I was like, I had time then. Like I maybe could have done 2 because I've done like stuff that I've done more than 2.
You've done 5 bar spins in a quarter pipe before.
Yeah, on a ramp, so it's different. And I was like, okay, I could probably do 2.
Yeah.
So then my second run, I'm like, well, if I do the whole top half of my run as good as I did the run before, then I'll do 2.
Yeah.
And then I did 2, and then we went for third runs, and I was like, when I did the double off it, I was like, I probably could have done 3.
Yeah.
Like I had that thought in the back of my mind, like you probably could have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like, and then again, I went up for my third run, and I was like at the top, and I'm like, all the tricks on the jumps that I hadn't done in practice is like tricks you do at home though. So you practice them all winter effectively.
Yeah. So
at home.
You know the tricks. It's just
you
not.
You know
on
the tricks.
feature.
You just can't. You've never done it on them features. So it's just it's new, but it's not.
Yeah.
So it's it's just like you've got the confidence. You know you can do the trick. It's just whether you can.
But it's on like that flat drop. It's what 30 foot in the air. More.
It's about, I think from where you take off to where you land was about 20 vertical,
foot. Like that's a massive
it's
consequence.
Big.
Like how do you deal with something like that? Because I stand at the top, even the top of like a skate park ramp, and you think, ooh, that's big.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just you never have that doubt in your mind. It's like when you're racing, you'd never think, oh, what if I washed out going around this corner at 40 mile an hour? Like, you just don't.
Oh, well, I have watched some people dive bomb corners on the blind corners on the wrong side of the road and think, I'm not following that.
No, but some people just don't. You don't think about the consequence when you're that in the zone, and you're just fully committed to landing it, or you wouldn't try it. Yeah. At least for me, I'm like
in your head, you've already done that trick. Like
in my head, I'm like 99% sure I'm not crashing. So. The chances of crashing is very low.
Yeah.
And if you crash, it's like, well, I mean,
it's anyone.
It was close. Like, which is how I've always thought about it. Like, as long as you're 100%, like, pretty much 100% committed to doing it, you probably do it. Like, I feel like you give yourself a good chance if you do that. So, I mean, that was huge there. And then in finals, ended up finishing second again, like one spot behind David Godziak again, which was like insane to be at them events. And that was just a huge setup and then getting the invites to the big events in Canada and going and riding them. And then the first event in Canada last year I ended up winning, and it was just like an insane year last year. And then now coming to this year was just, I think last year just made me realize that it can be like you can be like, I don't know, it's possible to be. I guess that was where it was like.
Is it like over the course of the year you kind of realize that this isn't a fluke? This is who I am. This is what I do.
You are like it's not like I did all right at one event and then it was like, okay, I'm doing like all right at all the events I've been to so far, and I think then you just like you didn't like believe that you can do it, and then it just went from there. And it was just
because I think for me watching, it was probably like Roof Ride was that really massive moment of
that was a big change
when you I look at all your results from the other events, you're like winning that comp at Zurich. I didn't know anyone who was there kind of thing, and it's like it's an amazing result. I don't know anyone who's there, and then coming second to David at Irontown and stuff like that, that's like again a massive result. But again, you think, oh, small contest, whatever. It's like a good result in Slovakia. But you go to Roof Ride, Matt Jones and Rob Warner in the commentary box screaming. Insane. It's like that's such a huge thing to such a step change from where you've been before.
Absolutely.
Like, that's just such a massive transition, and it's like you seem to have still kept your feet on the ground. And
it was crazy. I just think it's that like that switch in realizing you can do it, but and then still doing it, not like, I think the main thing, I mean, it just all came along as of like so many years of riding.
Yeah.
Like it's been so many.
It was all so quick, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you went to go away for 1 week for one contest.
Literally, and then there was just like, then it was like, okay, you could come and do this event, and then this event.
Yeah, so I suppose you didn't really have time to process it, do you? You're just in it.
Yeah, you
don't
just
have
there.
time to think.
You're there, and you're like, well, this is scary again.
Yeah.
You ride the course, and then you get a bit more comfortable, and then qualifying happens or finals happens, and you're like super nervous, and like I don't think that nerve ever goes away of being like scared at the top.
Well, I think if you're not nervous, I don't think you care enough. That's what I think.
No, I think like, yeah, being like really nervous obviously doesn't help, but like having the little nerve at the start is good. Like if you weren't like worried at all about dropping in, I feel like it's like you always perform better like on the race day, I find.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do, definitely.
Yeah, you're definitely a bit better on the day.
Yeah, because you've got something to ride for, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So,
and I mean, at all these contests, you've obviously made a lot of new friends. People like Sam Pilgrim, Max Fredrickson, big names in the game.
Yeah.
Who do you think you've learnt the most from, or what's something interesting that you can give us from some of those guys that you might not get from more normal people, should we say? I learned a lot from Max, definitely, especially in New Zealand at Rotorua. I pretty much spent all my time in practice riding with Matt. Yeah.
Max.
And you can see when on his video, you can see you chilling out in the back.
Yeah. So
milling about, mounting him, things like that.
Yeah, we were out having fun. But yeah, no, it was wicked, like hanging around with him because he's been riding slope for 10 years now. He's been riding CrankWorks for 10 years. He's an
old man in the scene of slopestyle, isn't he?
Yeah, he's getting old now. But no, he's been in the scene, like 10 years now, which is insane. Like he's been riding it since he was in CrankWorks when he was like 18. Yeah. Still
kind of the place you are now.
Yeah, sort of thing. Yeah, when he started. So he's got obviously a lot of knowledge about competitions, sort of what to do in the competitions, like to train your tricks in practice, which ones to do. Like no point trying your dangerous stuff in practice. It's just like if you practice the tricks all winter, and especially it's a thing that Pilgrim said to me as well, is like you spend all winter practicing your tricks. Why come to the event and then practice?
Right.
You're not at the event to practice. You're there to like do your stuff. Get comfy.
So you're more learning the course at an event.
Rather than absolutely. Get comfy on the jumps, and then you know you can do your tricks. You spend all winter practicing your tricks. It'd be like, I guess for you go to the course and learn the course, but it's pointless. It's pointless when you're learning the course, trying to go around the course as fast as you can to learn it. It's pointless.
Well, and also it's like for my winter, all my miles I've stacked up over winter. I'm not getting any faster sprinting around the course the day of the race. Do you know what I mean?
No, you're not. The day before practicing, if you get a really fast time, where like
means nothing.
Literally means nothing. Whereas it's spending. The relatable way is like if you spend your whole time learning exactly where you should be on track or whatever, whereas to us it's like learning every jump how it feels, so you're comfy. By the time it comes to doing your trick on the jump, it doesn't feel like a scary jump because you're so used to hitting that jump. Or you do very basic tricks on it, like just do a regular 360 or just flips, and like keep it fairly mellow through practice is definitely what a lot of the like top boys that have been in it for years and years and years have said. Like you notice with a lot of the really good riders and the people that are really consistent don't do many of their tricks in practice. Like David Godziak ticks a few bits off and does the stuff he knows he can do, but he like and Max and stuff, they do the bits and the basics of tricks, but they're not going to do all their full competition run in practice because it's like
you don't need to.
There is a lot of people that find it, they quite like doing that. They quite like doing all their tricks in practice. But then I feel like there's way less. You almost take the edge off the finals day, which I almost don't like. Like I like that pressure rather than
it lets you perform to that real high
rather
level.
than dropping in and going, oh well, I've already done all this stuff.
Probably keeps it a bit more interesting, doesn't it? Keeps it like fresh. You know you've got more to come.
It'd be like if you did like the day before, like say the race day for you, if you did like a lap round a course like insanely fast, and you're like, oh, I can win tomorrow then because I can go around fast. You know, like, and then race day comes and you're just not on like the
you've not got last little snap.
It's just that's the biggest thing I think is, and from what I've seen and spoke to, and learning from like Max, like which bits of the course to ride when and stuff is like so important. Like, because obviously, he'd been to Rotorua, like that was his 10th year there. So like he's like when as soon as the wind started dying down, he's like, let's go and ride this bit, because this bit is only rideable when the wind is like dying. Yeah. He's like, because everyone else will still ride the top, and he's like, if you can just get this bit feeling good, he's like, you can practice on the top all day because it's never windy up there. Yeah. He's like, but the second you get any time, come and ride down here and stuff, like all that stuff is stuff you would never think about.
All the tricks of the trade. Like,
you'd never think about like riding this specific part of the course over and over and over and over, because you just like, well, I'll just keep lapping the whole thing, but you can't, because then it's too windy and you have to stop. And so as soon as the wind dies, you just lap the bottom half, and kind of thing was all that stuff's very interesting to understand. And it's huge. It's a big part of the game. Is being comfy on course is a big advantage. Yeah, I
definitely find that for me is like being prepared is like the best thing I can do for my racing. Is knowing that I've done everything I can to be as good as possible on the start line. Yeah. Because after that, all you have to do is pedal your bike. It's
exactly.
Like if you know you're coming to the start line, I've trained right, I've eaten right, I've slept right, I'm ready to go. Yeah. There's no reason why you can't do well.
Literally.
Yeah, if you're at the top of the course, you know you've got it dialed. Yeah. There's nothing.
You know you've practiced. You've been doing them tricks for the last year. Yeah. Yeah. You now know the course, but now you've got to do all them tricks. It's like, it's nervous, but you know it's possible.
And has there been any moment in the last year of competing where you have been at the top of that start ramp and you thought, has there ever been any doubt in your mind?
I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I like doubt whether I can actually do what I'm about to try. Yeah. I very like, I don't like trying something if I don't think I can do it. If I've got any doubt, I'm like, I don't know if I can actually do this. I just won't try it. I'll just do something else. Yeah. Like, I'll just do the safer option. Like I try and stay away from the like risk in it. Like I know a lot of people, like a lot of people especially in like the silver events and stuff, people are very willing to risk it for a first place, because it's like, if I get this first place, I'll get the next invite. But it's like, but also if you crash, you're getting nothing, and then you're out. Yeah, like you could have it. Yeah, so it's a big thing being like, what's the word? Like almost confident. Being like, almost like risk assessing what you're doing. I can't think of like there is a good word for it, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, making sure that you're comfortable in your own run, that you've got 100% confidence that you're going to make it down to the other side. And
absolutely.
If you've got that little bit of doubt playing on your mind, that's where things start to go wrong. If you still coming into a jump thinking you're not fully committed to doing whatever it is you're going to do, that's when things start to come unstuck, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you're coming into a jump like, I actually don't know if I can do this, and then you try it, you've got a good chance of crashing. Yeah. Say if you go into a corner and don't commit to it, you probably won't make out. Like, if you're like, I actually don't think I can get around this corner, you probably crash. Like,
panic brake, lock up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you hesitate, it's never really ever going to be good. Yeah. Or if you're 100% committed, I feel like you're either going to do it or the crash isn't going to be that bad, or you'll at least get out of it. Yeah. If you're 100% committed, it's probably going to almost work perfectly. Yeah. Like if you might slip a foot, or you might lose the bike slightly. Yeah. But you'd be so close anyway that you're always going to almost land right. Yeah. Whereas if you completely just don't, then you got a good chance of ending up in a bad way.
Yeah. So would you say, out of all these guys, who would you say so far has been the most influential to your journey, to making? Who's had the biggest influence on you? Who's that guy in your journey so far that's changed the most for you?
Definitely Max. I think I've spent the most time with Max, and all the help he gave me in Roto, just explaining stuff, and was massive. And a few of the boys are the same. Like just like, a lot of the boys are helpful, like Lucas Hooper and stuff, saying just like, you don't have to worry about what everyone else is doing, just chill and do your own thing.
Seems like a very inclusive sport.
Absolutely.
Road
absolutely.
biking and mountain biking.
Literally everyone on the top is always like, everyone's telling each other to do their best. And when people drop in for their finals runs, everyone's stood there watching. No one's just like, everyone stood there watching, and if they land, everyone goes crazy. Like they've just won. Yeah. Like whoever wins, everyone just goes crazy that they've won. Like it's a cool sport. Everyone's definitely in it for each other.
Is there anyone that intimidates you? Like you've got Emil stood right on the top. Does anything like that weigh on your mind, or do you just
no? Because I don't. Because I like it'd be, for me, it'd be awesome to be able to like win every event and be the best. But it's also, I don't think, like, not that I wouldn't, I think that the level of training you have to put in and how like persistent you have to be, that you have to consistently do the same thing over and over and over. You have to do them tricks almost every day.
Yeah.
Or like every session, you're just training the same thing. It just becomes so repetitive.
Yeah.
It becomes like, for me, if I go and do the same stuff every day, it becomes not fun. Like,
because I mean, if I watch like a Tom Eistedt run or one of your runs, it's like, that's obviously, it's a different league.
Yeah.
And then you watch Emil and his level of technicality. Is that what you mean, where he'll do tricks and his run just works so seamlessly in between like the symmetry of all the tricks, and it's also intricate? Is that what you mean, where you like, where you'll obviously practice tricks and session tricks, but he's got this exact, it's almost down to a science.
Yeah.
Whereas yours is more of, I would say, more like an art, where you're throwing down and trying to make a really sick run. But Emil's is so calculated.
Emil is very calculated with everything he does, and that's why he's so good. But he really enjoys doing that.
Yeah.
Like, he enjoys pushing himself in that way, which, like, I don't. I hate, like...
Yeah.
That's why
kind of like the trial stuff.
It comes back to that of, like, it's just constantly doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, the whole... I think competition trials is cool, but for me, I just could never do it. Like, because it is literally just the same thing. It's just different obstacles to ride over.
Yeah.
But it's almost the same few techniques, and you just practice the same 5 things over and over and over.
Rather than riding different jumps.
Which, if you enjoy,
if
you enjoy, is like great. But I just like I ride such a mix when I'm at home, and like a lot of people will just train their jump bike, just practice tricks, like, and all that. Like, I spend a lot of time on my jump bike, but I also spend a lot of time on my mountain bike. I spend a lot of time on my trials bike. And spend a lot of time on the skate park.
And obviously your GT gravel bike.
Exactly. So I've got so much to do now.
Yeah.
I'm just literally having fun. But it's like, I guess that's why it's like going as good as it is, because I've got no pressure to be doing anything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't put any pressure on myself to be doing anything. I'm just like enjoying it while I've got the opportunity, and having as much fun as possible right now.
It seems to be working all right, doesn't it?
I wouldn't change it. You
wouldn't change it. So obviously good. Cairns coming up.
I'm excited for that. It's gonna be fun.
You feel ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Obviously your new custom painted forks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By yours truly, me.
But yeah, I think that's probably about time to wrap up, I reckon. That was
it's cool.
Pretty cool conversation. I appreciate you taking the time.
No worries, thank
obviously
you.
You've got a few sponsors to shout out, and where people can find you.
My Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and all that is just Jake with 2 E's, Atkinson. It's all one word. And then, just big thanks to everyone that supports me. Muck-Off, Hellfair, Avail, GT, Halo, Gusset.
And the rest.
And everyone else. Can't think right now.
Maxis.
TSG.
Maxis Tires.
Maxis.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
But thanks everyone for watching.
Everyone, thank you.
Yeah, catch you in the next one. Peace.
Cheers.